Welcome to another soundtrack for today. Kenneth B. Inch here with you guys once again. And before we move into Stevie's classical period, I wanted to close out by playing and watching and listening to Signed, Sealed, Delivered by Babyface and Ariana Grande live at Stevie Wonder's Songs in the Key of Life. I think it's a good way to set up what we are about to enter when it comes to the next 4 album run. And it's a good way to kind of close out, where we left with 60s Stevie. So without further ado, let's put the needle on the track. Good start. Acoustic.
Like a fool, I went and stayed too long. Now I'm wondering if your love's still strong. Ooh, baby, here I am, signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours.
Okay.
Then that time I went and said goodbye, babe. Now I'm back and I'm not ashamed to cry. Ooh, baby, here I am, signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours.
Okay.
Here I am, babe, signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours. Here I am, babe, signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours, babe. I've done a lot of foolish things that I really didn't mean. Yeah,
Done a lot of foolish things that I really didn't mean. Seen a lot of things in this whole world. Not just a million, a million damn thing, girl.
Ooh, baby, here I am, signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours, babe.
Come on.
Ooh, baby, set my soul on fire. Let's know you are my only desire. Ooh, baby, here I am, signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours, signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours, signed, sealed, delivered. I'm yours. Did a lot of foolish things, yeah, that I really didn't mean. Yeah,
Done a lot of foolish things that I really didn't mean. You love you, Stevie.
Oh my God, that was fantastic, man. That was absolutely a pleasure to listen to. They did a fantastic job with that. I loved how they opened with the acoustic, with Babyface on the acoustic, kind of setting everything up. And then they just brought in the full instrumentation and then they just went for it. And I love how they just restructured the song. Because when I first heard it, I'm like, okay, they're going to kind of do a little bit of a ballad. But nah, man, they opened that thing up, and the contrast between the two voices were really, really, really good as well. And the first verse I thought was really, really interesting by both singers. You know, both of them kind of starting, you know, kind of in their with the chest voice, and then later on as it kind of went along. Definitely, Babyface went to the falsetto, and Ariana also kind of, changing up how she sang as well. And I think that went along with just how the music was arranged and the way the song is written. So it's and he's doesn't seem like it, but he has a very full voice. And Ariana has a very deep and full voice with a lot of range, and Babyface uh, has that as well. But when there's what he can always rely on and go to is the falsetto, because he can hit the same notes with his falsetto as he does with his regular voice. And with Stevie, which I think I saw they say he sings in like hot in a range of A. That can be a challenge for a lot of singers. Stevie has a lot of range. His voice can span like three different octaves, so he can be a challenge for some singers. And but Babyface always has that falsetto. So salute to them in tackling that song and doing it. And Babyface falsetto was nice. So they made a really, really good team. I like how they partnered up. Really, 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 really good song. And I need to see what other performances there are from this Songs in the Key of Life. Maybe there's some other dope performances that I missed. But nevertheless, up next, we're preparing for the classical phase, his classic album run. And man, there's some joints on here that I can't wait. I can't wait to figure out which song will be the soundtrack for today. But as we go through that, I definitely wanted to take today out to close out the 60s with Stevie before we completely transition over. And I felt like this performance by Babyface and Ariana Grande singing Signed, Sealed, Delivered was a good way to do that. And that is why it's our soundtrack for today.